How can such an awful experience from the past become one of my most interesting stories to tell? And today I have a very big privilege to share this with hundreds of my new friends and especially you. I want to make this a very special video, so the only real The Russian Dude can go stay all the way until the end, but I promise you that those of you who will stay until the end, we will form a very strong bond together. You will be among the very few ones whenever this channel grows big and hopefully gets like tens of thousands of views who will know this story of my life. And so this is a story of me reliving the very bad days of my life, but not the worst ones, because these moments I prefer to keep to myself. But still, this story is pretty bad, that's why it's forever engraved in my memory. And so, this is the story about when I lost my passport while being alone in a foreign country. And from now on, if possible, I would just like to hit the record button and record it all at once, so I can share my emotions the same way I felt exactly during these days. Alright, so it's November 22nd, 2018. Me and my fiancée, which is already alive at this very moment, we were planning to go to Russia, and this was supposed to be her very first time going to Russia, and she obviously doesn't speak the language, she doesn't know people, anyone there, nothing like this. And so, this is how it starts. And before we go on with the actual story, it is very important to go 1 week before this. So, I'm in Florida, I'm going to DMV, and DMVs are those places where you basically update your driving license. So, for example, if you are not from America, this is basically the clarification method for you. So I go to DMV to renew my driving license, Floridian driving license, and whenever I approach the girl in the station, she asks me for obviously the driving license and some other supporting documents. I give everything to her, and suddenly she is asking for my Russian passport, which was the very first time whenever I was asked to get my first Russian passport to update the Floridian driving license. At this point I was living in Florida for like 3 years already, but okay. So I give her the passport, she starts scanning it, she starts uploading the pictures, documents, whatever, typing on her computer, and eventually there's like some kind of error and she is unable to update my driving license. We try something new, nothing works, and I'm like, well, okay, I still have a couple of months in my driving license, so I'll just go home. And this is what basically happened. And then 1 week later, whenever it was basically 1 day before the flight, 1 day before I was supposed to meet with my fiancé in the Floridian airport and we both go to Russia, this is when I'm going to work, to my regular work at this point, and I start working, the whole day passes, and in the evening I try to check in for the plane, everything is good, I try looking for my passport because, you know, whenever you're checking in you need to input your passport details, and I cannot find it anywhere, you know, but eventually it's okay because I have some scans on my phone, and so I retrieve the information from there, like passport number and all these kind of things. So I successfully check in, the flight is tomorrow, we're very excited, this is the Thanksgiving Eve, we couldn't just be happier because tomorrow, for the very first time, she's going to Russia, I'm going to show her my very own country, I'm going to introduce to my friends, relatives, parents, and it's going to be incredible trip. And so that's it. So I'm working at 5 p.m. This is when usually people are done working. My boss approaches me like, can you stay a little bit later? And I'm like, okay, like I have nothing to do, tomorrow is the flight day and I won't be at work for another couple of weeks, so that's totally fine by me. And I'm like, okay, I'll just stay and do some more activities, some more requests if you wanna call it. Like 30 minutes, 1 hour later, I start driving home and I'm like, whenever I was checking in, I did not find my passport. Like this was concerning, but at the same time I was pretty confident that my passport was supposed to be somewhere in the home, somewhere in the house, somewhere in the apartment. So, but this still thing, this always was in the back of my mind, that what if I lost it? So eventually I come home, I start checking in the first place where I thought my passport would be, it's not there. It's already getting scary, obviously, as you would imagine. I check the second most common place where would my passport be, and it's not there either. And this is when I started having panic attacks, because that's it, tomorrow is the flight, the bags are packed, the documents are ready, I already checked in for the flight, but there is no passport, and you cannot obviously travel without the passport. So and then I start thinking, I start basically turning upside down my whole entire apartment, and it was not even the big apartment, I was just renting one small room, and it's not there, it's simply not there. Then I really start panicking, and I start thinking, where was I potentially lost it? And I was started thinking about this DMV, which was already 1 week ago. And I was like, okay, I gave this girl a passport, she started scanning it, and I don't remember, I don't remember taking it back from her. So I checked the address, checked the GPS, checked the location, and apparently this DMV closed like around 6:30, and it's already 7 p.m. at this time, so I'm like 30 minutes late. But I still decided to go, like, what if there are some people who are cleaning, what if there are people who stayed late? I don't think it ever happened in DMV, people who stayed late to work, but who knows. So I started driving my car, the place is like 20 minutes away, and I still was having this hope that at least one person will still be there, person who closes late or something like this, doesn't matter. So I arrived in this DMV place, I checked the door, and it's obviously closed. There are no lights inside, nothing like this, because it's Thanksgiving Eve and that's it, people started going to home earlier, and I kinda got very, very desperate. The first things to do, I was checking around local businesses to see if any of those people, they know anyone from the DMV, if there are any of them are friends or something like this, so maybe they can call them, bring them back, open the doors for me and get my passport. But apparently, first of all, half of the businesses were closed at this point, and at the same time, no one knew anyone from DMV, except one small place. Like, there was like this restaurant literally across the street from DMV, and I thought maybe those people who work there, they were going to this restaurant to have some lunch. This was like kind of quick food, like not fast food but quick food, so that's what I basically thought. I started speaking with this girl, and she said, yeah, I know a couple of people from DMV, so today is your lucky day. I was so optimistic, I was like, yes, finally, probably somebody's gonna come, open the doors and I get my passport, I'll go back to Russia and everything will be perfectly back to normal. But she started calling them, no one replies, none of these two people picked up the phone, and that's it. It's simple as that, and it was not even that late, it was like 8 p.m. at this point. Probably people like, okay, tomorrow is the Thanksgiving day, I'm gonna shut down all the phones, shut down all the social medias, and I'm just gonna spend it with my family, as I guess they rightfully have to do. So, but that's what basically happened. So she couldn't call anyone. The next thing I did was to call literally 911. I called 911 and this like, hey, this is 911, what's your emergency? And I started saying, I have a flight tomorrow, the DMV is closed, my passport is most likely inside, can you please send someone who can open, I don't know, police, firefighters, whatever. And the woman said, okay, I'll send the patrol, the one which is next closest to you, and we'll see from there. So the guy arrives, the policeman arrives, and he starts standing, seeing inside the DMV, knocking on the door, exactly the same things that I did. And he's like, well, how do you think I can help you? I'm like, can you call someone? Maybe you have like database for business owners, for government building owners, something like this. He's like, no, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't want to do this, I'm not sure if I can even do this. Eventually, long story short, he was not very helpful, as you can already see. I was like, okay, I guess thank you so much. The guy said, happy Thanksgiving, and just basically left. Nothing happy about this Thanksgiving 100% for sure. Then I come back to this restaurant girl and she's like, oh, I have an idea, go to this like highway patrol station. This is probably when they have maybe all these contacts of local DMVs. I have no idea why she sent me to these highway patrol stations, but at this point I had no other options, so I just had to do what she basically told. I find the nearest one, it's like literally on the middle of the highway in between two opposite directions, whatever. I go inside, I mean, not go inside because everything is closed. I go around the building and yes, everything is closed. The city, the nearby areas, everything basically went to celebrate Thanksgiving and there was no one, literally no one, not a single light except maybe street lights and couple offices, no one. So what I have to do, I just go back to DMV hoping maybe somebody returned, maybe there's like 1% chance that somebody forgot something inside their DMV and maybe they'll be there and they'll open for me, but this was like literally less than 1% chance. So obviously this did not happen and I did not see anyone, but whenever I started looking inside the DMV, I saw the small paper all the way on the opposite wall which says, in case of an emergency, call this number. But this number was so small, I literally couldn't see it at all. Like, that's it, it was just too far and too small and there was no light. I started taking pictures with my phone, tried to zoom in, but there was nothing. It was like just pixelated numbers, no way to even guess what these numbers were. And I was like, okay, let's buy binoculars. So I tried finding like Walmart or anything like this to see if they're still open where I can find and buy binoculars, but literally there was nothing, everything once again was closed. Eventually I started like typing in Google, buy binoculars near me. And I basically sorted by, this like which businesses are still open, like Walmarts or like hardware stores, whatever, like all these kind of things. There was only one store, and at this point I think it was already like 9:50 p.m. The one store only which was closing in 10 minutes, and this store was like 8 minutes away from me. I immediately go to my car, start driving to this place, park like literally next to the front entrance of this place, go inside, and I find binoculars somehow. It was like hunting store or whatever, and I buy these binoculars, come back, I see this number, I dial it, and this is just the regular number of the DMV, the same number that you will find on Google. So basically it's not helpful at all, because I pick up the phone, I call it, and they say, hey, we're closed for the Thanksgiving, our store hours this and this and that, we will open on Monday and see you on Monday. Basically not helpful at all. So this is Wednesday night, and yes, they will be only opening on Monday, and my flight was supposed to be on Thursday. So I was about to miss like 4 days of our trip, and besides that, I was about to send my future wife to Russia all by herself, alone. She doesn't know the language, she never been to the country, she only seen my parents once. And this is what was about to happen. This was obviously a very, very terrible situation. Okay, so I was obviously getting very, very extremely desperate, but I obviously had to do something. And I just started driving around thinking, I guess I'll stop in the police station. Maybe this guy, the one who was 911 call, he was not helpful, but maybe it'll be someone else, like the police captain, chief of police, whatever, whoever. At this point I was ready to speak with anyone, because maybe they had some access, they definitely had the database for all these businesses. So that was my guess. So I arrived to this police station plaza, and next to the police station there was also the city hall, and I saw like 3-4 people like hanging around, being happy. Probably they were drinking previously. So I approached them, start talking, and apparently these 4 people, this was one actual mayor of this city, 2 ex-mayors, and one person was like director of finance of the city or something like this. I explained my situation, and the guy was like, today is your lucky day, because I'm the mayor of this city, and I'm gonna give you this guy's number. I'm gonna call him myself, not today because it's already late, but I'll call him myself tomorrow first thing in the morning, and he will open doors for you. You will get your passport and everything will be perfect. So he reassured me. I was relatively happy but still anxious because I still had not my passport, and relatively because already a little bit too late, I started going home. At home I picked up the phone, called my parents, informed them about the situation. They were like, are you serious? Are you serious? Less than 12 hours before the flight and you lost what? Your passport? I was like, yes, I lost my passport, which is exactly this one, which I'm holding in my hands. This is the one, so it's already kind of spoiler alert. I did find it eventually, and now keep going, keep watching this video so you will see exactly how did I find my passport. The next day I wake up, there is no call from this guy. I wait 30 more minutes, still no call from this guy. Wait another hour, still no call from this guy, and obviously I decided to just call him myself. The guy wakes up, feels like literally my phone call woke him up because he's speaking, hello, who is this? Oh yeah, I remember. So obviously the guy was hangover, he just woke up probably, he doesn't remember anything, even though he was saying yeah, probably he doesn't remember giving all these promises. But eventually he was like, okay, just give me a second, I'll call the guy, let him know this, he will come, open the DMV, and you'll be good to go. I started getting ready, like taking into consideration this fact that probably I will be lucky today and everything will be perfectly back to normal. But 30 minutes later the guy still doesn't call back, so I call him again. So, hey, were you able to reach this DMV director? And he said he does not pick up the phone. He does not pick up the phone. He said he's probably celebrating Thanksgiving, he doesn't care, he just shut down all his connection with the outside world, he's with his family, he's just by himself right now, there's no way to reach him. I'm sorry bro, I cannot help you, good luck with finding your passport, and happy Thanksgiving. Nothing happy about this, but happy Thanksgiving. And this is the very first time when I'm calling my fiance, my future wife, and I'm telling her this story. She is pissed, angry to say the least, but I had to deliver this news because first of all we're supposed to meet in Florida airport, and this is where we meet. We board the plane, straight plane ticket, plane flight to Moscow, sit next to each other for 12 hours, be like cozy and all this kind of thing, and excited that she will finally see Russia for the very first time. This was what was supposed to happen, this never happened. I called her, extremely upset, but we decided, okay, sure, just go to Florida. I will meet you in the Florida airport, doesn't matter if I have passport or no, and we'll go from there, we'll see from there. And in the meantime, while you're flying to Florida, I will continue looking, because what else have I to do? So once again, I turn upside down my entire room, stop by my at work. Maybe I did not check all the drawers or anything like this. Nothing at home, nothing at my work. I go back to DMV, maybe somehow there was no people before Thanksgiving, so obviously during the actual Thanksgiving I was hoping there will be someone. Obviously there was no one. I started driving around, I found a firefighter station, I saw 2 firefighters exercising, and I was like, okay, these are firefighters, what if there is a fire in DMV, inside DMV, let's say, so, and they need to access the building, so they must have like spare keys or anything like this. So I was like, maybe firefighters, so this will be my last resort, my last chance to do something, because if it doesn't work out, I don't have my passport and I have to send my fiance alone to another country with not knowing the language at all. So I approached these firefighters, explained my situation, and long story short, they were like, sorry, can't help you, happy Thanksgiving. Nothing happy about it once again, but happy Thanksgiving. This is when I completely gave up, because I literally spoke with the mayor of the city. It does not go higher than this. That's it, he is the mayor of the city. There is not a single person who can be more helpful than the city mayor himself. I spoke with the police, I spoke with the firefighters, with my 911. No one was able to help me. The only thing they were able to do is to wish me a happy Thanksgiving. And I just kinda gave up. I started driving to the airport. I met my girl there in the airport, explained everything. I was apologizing like a million times, but obviously there was no way for her to forgive me. Later she did. That's why we're married right now, I guess. But at this point she was extremely pissed, angry and upset. Same for me, obviously, and I was not able to go. I had to send her alone to Russia. Luckily, my parents, I told my parents, you meet her, you treat her like a queen, which she is. You spend time with her, you be with her, next to her, any single question, you help her, show her around, drive her around, just be in the car, be at home, just do something, and I will do my best. I'll do everything possible, and I will find this passport, and I will start boarding the flight on Monday, no matter how much the flight will cost. I will go back to Russia on Monday. And luckily, my sister, she speaks English, so she was able to be this kind of translator, and that's how it goes. I didn't realize I was speaking already for almost 20 minutes. I just had to restart recording because, modern cameras, they have this 20-minute recording limit. But anyways, continue with the story. So I sent her all alone to Russia, and at this point I started going back, and I was kind of feeling, if you can call this accomplished. I was upset, sad, but I was kind of feeling, I don't know, accomplished, settled, because I did literally everything I could. That's it. Unfortunately, I missed my original flight to Russia, but there is literally nothing I can do until Monday, and that's it. And this is when I started thinking, what if it is not in DMV? And at this point, I already bought the ticket. I was about to fly from Florida to New York first, and then from New York to Moscow, because at this day on Monday, there was no direct flight from Florida to Moscow. So I had to buy 2 plane tickets once again, Florida, New York, Moscow. But this, once again, this does not matter. This did not matter. Any cost, any price of the tickets, I'll buy them and just go on Monday. And so this is when I started realizing, what if it's not in DMV? What if it is somewhere else, or I actually lost it somewhere on the street, wherever? And I already bought the tickets, and I promised that I'm coming, and basically that's it. The only reason she went to Moscow, to Russia, is because I promised that I am coming, and we will spend half of our vacations, at least half. But I played hundreds of scenarios in my head, and there was no any other way it was be anywhere else except in this DMV. Because remember, whenever I was updating my license, I gave her the passport, and the girl put her in her scanner, and I don't remember getting it back after this. So it's supposed to be, it had to be in DMV. Long story short, fast forward to Monday, the day of when supposedly my trip was supposed to happen. I wake up first thing in the morning, go to DMV before it even opens. I arrive to DMV and there's a huge line of people around the building, even though the DMV was supposed to open like only in 15 minutes. And people already started taking lines which were supposed to be like 1 hour plus lines. Well, that's how it goes. And so I go in front of everyone, I'm just like, I just need to retrieve my passport. You go ahead, you have your appointments, you speak with the representatives, you speak with these people, you do your licenses, do pass driving tests. I just need to retrieve my passport. I will not take any single second of your time. I go inside, go to exactly the same station where I did my driving license renewal, and there was obviously another girl, and I explained my situation and said, can you please check the scanner? She opens the scanner. She says there is nothing there. I'm asking her, can you please check the drawer? Maybe she found the scanner later, put it in the drawer in case I come back for the passport, which I never did apparently, which I should have. But what if she just put it in the drawer and left it there? The girl checks the drawers and it's nothing. And at this point, this is when it started to get real scary, because I promised I will be back in Russia. I already bought the tickets, and it just, for me personally, where else would it be except DMV? And I was like, can you please check all the other like printers, scanners, drawers inside the DMV? Maybe this girl, whenever she finished her day, she gave this my passport. Maybe she gave my passport to someone else. And like, you know, in case this guy comes, just give him the passport. And she was like, you remember this cartoon Zootopia? Whenever there was like this slot, which was working like this very slowly, like this kind of stuff. It was exactly like this. It was Monday. It was Monday. You had long holidays. You had Thursday off, Friday, Saturday. You have 4 days vacations. It was a Thanksgiving. It was just the very first 5 minutes of your day, and you're already frustrated, pissed off, and tired. So I guess this Zootopia cartoon is pretty true. Anyways, the girl starts walking around. She starts asking her co-workers, hey, can you please check the scanner? Can you please check the drawer? She spent, it was only like maybe 15 stations, but she spent 15 minutes walking around all of them. I'm not even joking. 10-15 minutes walking around just 15 stations. She was stopping by, maybe even talking with your hey, how's your Thanksgiving? Complete like unawareness of the situation, complete disrespect, if you want to call it this way. She sees that I'm very nervous, that I'm very frightened, scared, and all this kind. And she just walks around like peaceful and chill, like, hey, what's up, Mike? How was your Thanksgiving? Eventually I was like, well, there it must be, and one of these scanners drawers, because if it's not there, I have no idea where it is. 15 minutes later, she's like, it's nowhere. And this is when I was like, okay, so what now? What do I do now? I was like, can I speak with your manager, because I maybe, it sounds like I'm Karen or something, but no, because managers, they have access to like, this lost and found, for example. And this was the case. So I asked the manager, can you please check, I have a passport like this, like I described him, this is like burgundy or whatever, like scarlet if you want to call it, I have no idea what's the color, brownish, reddish passport. Can you please check it if you have it in your lost and found? This is very important. I have a trip today, I have a flight today like in 4 hours. I need this passport because this is life. This is life or death question, if you want to call it like this, if it makes sense. This was extremely important. And once again, Zootopia movie, manager goes inside his room very slowly, like real sloth. Works very, very slowly, goes out like literally in 20 seconds, maybe even less. The passport is not there, he says. The passport is not there, he says. And this was literally, where else would it be? If this girl who took my documents, she did not find her passport, it would be in the scanner. If she found my passport, it would be somewhere in the drawers or something like this. If she found my passport, but she was like, okay, I'm not gonna work next week, she'll give it to her friends or her manager to put it in lost and found. And it was literally nowhere. And at this point, I like felt like sinking through the ground. My heart stopped, like all these kind of things. I had chills in my back. I got like whatever. I have no idea how to explain what was that, but this was just probably one of the worst feelings in my life I've ever experienced so far. And I asked the guy, hey, can you please check again? This is very important. You only spent like 15 seconds. There is no possible way you were able to check the entire lost and found box in 15 seconds. The guy says, I already checked. It's not there. And I'm just kind of already forcing him, just go. Like, it's very important. It's passport. There is nothing more important than passport. I need to find it. I am asking for 1 more minute of your time. He like, goes inside the DMV, goes inside, his management office, checks the box, like 20 seconds later goes out, it is not there. I told you it's not there. Now go. We have clients. And I cannot believe, where was it? I played 1,000 scenarios. It's supposed to be on TV. It's not there. I'm asking, can you please bring out the box? We check together. Can I go inside your office and check it myself? Because it looks like you're not doing your job properly or something like this. I did not say about job stuff, but that's what I thought, obviously. The guy said, no, I'm not gonna do it. It's not allowed. Like, why it's not allowed to bring out lost and found box? I have no idea, but whatever. And then I kind of already again forcing him, like, I needed this passport. Come on, dude, like, you don't understand. This is passport. Maybe you don't have a passport. Maybe you never left America. You only traveled inside America, but I do travel outside. Passport is not just some paper or whatever. It's the most important document in any person's life. And so eventually he's like, okay, what's your name? It's, I guess, this was the first time he asked my name. And I'm saying, my name is Artem Digarev and all this kind of stuff. So he goes inside silent. He goes out and says, I checked nothing. And this is when I was even already kind of trying to go inside this management office. He's like, you're not allowed there. I'm gonna call the security. You have to go. Like, it's not there. Why are you forcing me to do this? Like, being already pretty serious with him, pretty angry at me and all this kind of stuff, but I just cannot believe it's supposed to be there. I know it's there. He just doesn't want to look for it. He is angry, he is pissed, he is whatever he is, but he just does not want to look for my passport. And so eventually somehow I force him, okay, just bring this stupid lost and found box. Let me see. No one is gonna fire you. No one is gonna put you in jail for bringing out the lost and found box. He is really pissed, goes inside, takes out the lost and found box, which is like, they have these envelopes with like alphabetical order A, B, C, D and all this kind of stuff. He takes the folder A, my name Artem starts with A, and he's like, see, not there. And I'm like, well, what if it's under folder D, because my last name starts with D. And like, he said, no, I checked it everywhere. I checked every folder, it's nowhere. I checked A, B, C, D all the way to the end, to the last letter of the alphabet. It's not there. Go home. And I just check D. It will take you 2 seconds. Just open this envelope and check stupid D folder. He opens the folder and there is my passport. He opens the folder and there is my passport. The guy said me 50 times. I checked everywhere. I checked every folder. It's not there. And apparently he only checked folder A, looks like. He only checked folder A because my name starts with A. He did not care to spend extra 2 seconds to check any other folder than A. And he was saying, I checked everywhere, go home or gonna go to the police. This just made me so angry. But as soon as I saw my passport, I was like, I just don't care. I'm gonna take my passport, I'm gonna go away, I'm gonna drive back to my home, take out my luggage, board Uber to the plane, board the plane to New York, Florida, New York, Moscow, and I'm gonna see. That's all that matters at this moment. That's all I care at this moment. But this guy was like, oh, I'm so sorry, I did not see it, I must have somehow missed it. Yeah, of course, right, you missed it, you've been there 5 times according to you, you're checking everywhere and you missed it, yeah, right. So long story short, yeah, I take my passport, I go inside the car, the mixture of emotions of extreme happiness and the mixture of this anger for this kind of employees that do not care at all, that they don't think that passports matter, they don't want to help you, they say they do, but they do nothing extra, they don't, just forget about them. Yeah, like that's the type of, I guess, employees sometimes. Long story short, I go home, pack, once again, take all my luggage, Uber, drive to the airport, New York, Moscow, and I finally meet. We had an amazing weekends together, amazing like 5-7 days in Russia, whatever was left from our supposedly 2 weeks trip. But this was just insane. But the moral of the story is obviously, guys, do things in advance. Don't leave packing until the very last day. Check your documents. Always check your documents, especially like passports or whatever travel documents you're using, especially if you're traveling. This is just extremely important. Just don't repeat, don't make my mistakes. And another moral of the story is that awful things that are happening in the past, just like I explained you right now, eventually this became one of the most lifelong stories to tell. Right now, of course, I'm smiling, reliving the stories, but still, it still brings me this kind of a little bit of anger inside when I'm speaking about this DMV guy who said he checked 5 times the boxes, but apparently he never did. And he was like, I'm gonna call the police, you have to go. So yes, don't lose your passport, check your documents, stay safe, and see you tomorrow. And tomorrow, by the way, I have a very important announcement tomorrow, so please make sure to stay tuned. Tomorrow's video is going to be extremely important video, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching. Oops.